I'm doing a spoiler now, but I do encourage you to watch it because it's a long time in coming. It's definitely a step in the right direction. Oh, Jan says the sound is good. Thanks, Jan. I always like getting a sound check. So, of course, it was amazing and stupendous to see the idea of withholding food from a dog for 10 days being entertained somewhere besides in my writings, because I am the only one I'm aware of that's been talking about fasting dogs for 15 or 20 years and getting very little except abuse for it. So this video, like I said, is long overdue, and I hope it's just the beginning. Now, there are a couple things. That's sort of where the good news ends, where this video is concerned. Because just the fact that it talks about the topic of fasting in such a favorable light is a huge step forward. And especially since we've gone past that artificial threshold that's been built in the minds of dog owners of 1 day or 3 days or 5 days or whatever. I've seen vets, holistic vets, talk about 5 days. I've never seen anybody talk about 10 days. So that's spectacular. And this information, by the way, came to the maker of the video from a naturopath. And I have a feeling that if that was not a human naturopath, that he might have been a little more conservative with the recommended number of fasting days, or it may have had to do with the fact that the dog didn't show any progress after 5 days. And what are we always telling people in the group? Sometimes 5 days is the minimum because you don't see anything turn around very often until the 6th day or later. So, but anyway, there are a few points that I wanted to make about the herbs that were used by the owner in the video. And, you know, I think it's just extremely unfortunate that the video maker gives all the credit to these herbs for healing her dog. And I've told this story to the private group before about the medical doctor around the turn of the 20th century who used to dispense his special pills. He had these special pills. He alone manufactured them. People could do that in those days. And they were actually just sugar pills. So they acted as a placebo because the instructions that he gave his patients is that they were not permitted to eat while they were taking this special pill that would make them sick if they did. And the truth is, if they had eaten, they probably would have felt worse. So they would feel the effects right away. They would get that evidence back, right? They were told they must fast on water only for at least 7 days. So needless to say, everyone who did this got well, and people beat a path to this guy's door. And I don't know what ever became of that doctor. And I don't even remember his name, but I'm sure at some point he ran afoul of the medical industry because they don't like it when doctors do the right thing. But the point is, the body always does the healing. And that all of those people who took those sugar pills were already at the turn of the century programmed to credit healing to substances rather than to their body's ability to heal themselves. And the same mistake is being made every day in our current medically brainwashed culture. And the second point I wanted to make is that this naturopath that sold her the herbs and told her to fast her dog is probably the best we can hope for when we seek counsel from holistic practitioners. That's an understatement. That's the very best we can hope for. They would not be in business if they did the right thing and only told you that what the causes of your dog's problems are, how to remove the causes, and to fast your dog until he is well. That's what we do. We lay types that have nothing to lose. We have nothing invested in the medical system. In order for that guy to be able to dispense this advice, he has to sell products. If he didn't, he wouldn't have a practice or a platform from which to, dispense the information. And the third point relates to an experience I had about 10 years ago that is relevant to the illness that the dog in the video was suffering from. And that experience has to do with a very sick golden retriever that was in my care that had also been diagnosed with pancreatitis. I saw him through it, but it did not take 10 days of fasting. It only took 3 days of fasting and 5 days of just eating plant foods. So it's very likely that in the case of this little dog in the video, and I know there's a whole range of severity when it comes to pancreatitis, but it's very likely that this little dog would have gotten well faster if it hadn't been for those herbs. They were actually burdening his body, and his body got well in spite of the herbs, not because of them. So anyway, and just one more point about the video, not about the herbs, but about the video, is how the owner was treated by the allopathic vet. I think it's very telling that she was so ready to give luck the credit for healing this dog. She just said, "You've been lucky." How often have those of us who understand that the body heals itself heard that from medical practitioners? "Oh, you were just lucky. Oh, you didn't get a vaccine. Oh, you didn't get sick. You're just lucky. Your luck is working in your favor." So the owner credits the herb and the vet credits the, blind luck. And the whole time it was the body that did it all. And what this delusional thinking does is it just disrespects the miraculous self-healing abilities of the body. It's really a shame how little respect we give to nature. So that's all I wanted to say about the video. I do hope that if you haven't seen that, you will check the link out, because I will definitely be including that in the description.